In the time it takes to finish one stiff drink, me and my father, and special guest this week, Ray Levesque, are going to discuss and swap stories about growing up. And we're going to find out whether or not one stiff drink of alcohol makes you better at juggling, which should be pretty fun. So stay tuned for this episode of the Boondock Perspective.
Where class is optional.
Dad, you're embarrassing me. It's yet another carefree Maine day, and you're listening to The Boondock Perspective, the show that not only loves new viewpoints, but it embraces them. Joining me this week to laugh, talk, and imbibe is my father, Ray Levesque. Probably most known for owning Bishop's Store in Jackman, Maine. That's where you've seen him most of the time. Community volunteer and supporter. And his words, not mine, proud parent. So people who watch this are probably definitely going to know you. But I know you're also known all over the country. I remember being on a vacation with you to Florida, and somebody recognized the Bishop's license plate, and you had a conversation with him in a Walmart parking lot for like 15 minutes. So you are known everywhere. So give the people a little bit of background who may not know you, just to let them know who you are.
Well, let's see. Born in Skowhegan, Maine. Lived in Jackman, Maine pretty much all my life, so almost 58 years. 58 years in Jackman, 2 years in the Fairfield, Waterville area.
I forget that you lived there.
Yeah, I lived there for a couple years. Right after I got married, I worked for a company out of Vermont, and I was a sales rep for the whole state of Maine.
Awesome sales rep.
Yeah, so but other than that, I've lived in Jackman all my life, and I've worked in retail constantly during that period of time. Almost 40 years now owning Bishop's Store. So I've dealt with all the customers and employees. And
seen everything you can see in retail, I'm sure.
Pretty much so. There's not much that I haven't seen. Looking forward to not seeing it.
Yeah, that's coming. Yeah. The Bishop's is 69, right?
It was in 1950s when it started by my grandfather, and then my father took over, and then we took over, my brother and I, in 1981, and I've had it since. Yep. So,
dang.
Been a long time.
I speak for everyone when I say dang.
Yeah.
I get this a lot.
And now the fourth generation's taken over, so.
Yeah, I really look forward to that.
Getting ready to.
I'm happy that that's staying in the family.
Yeah.
I don't know, we haven't really talked about it too much, but it always kind of weighed on me a little bit that I wasn't taking it over because, my older brother didn't take it over, and then my older sister didn't take it over, and then I knew my younger brother wasn't going to take it over, and I'm like, it's on me. I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry, Dad. I want to do film things.
You shake this up on me for purpose?
100%. Yeah, that was definitely
Kids do that to you.
Is it foamy?
It's foamy.
Yeah.
It's going down.
Is it decent? I've actually never heard of this brewery. Somebody left it in my fridge, and I just never drank the six-pack.
It works. It's an IPA. Yeah. I feel like a millennial when I drink it.
Yeah, you need a beard like mine and a flannel shirt, and you'll be good.
No, I've had a beard like yours, only it was gray.
You grew it in no time at all.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can throw a picture up on the screen so people can see what you look like at the end of it.
Thanks. That'd be great. Really appreciate that, son.
Yeah, you look terrific. Yeah. I was so happy. When they told me you were growing the beard for the vacation, I was really happy. Ooh. Loud things. We have animals in this apartment.
Yeah.
So before we continue the conversation, we need to do a test study to see whether or not one stiff drink of alcoholic beverages makes you better at a weird task, and we chose juggling this time.
Yeah.
So I have a fresh can of tennis balls.
Just like opening up a can of beer.
Yeah, you already did that part.
Yeah, I opened it up. I was thirsty.
So before you drink too much of it, I want you to open them, take the balls out, feel the weights, and then see if you can juggle.
Ooh. That sound is magic.
Oh, that's been a long time since I've heard that. That was incredible.
Yeah.
Wow, that's got to smell
New
good.
tennis balls.
Probably not the most optimal juggling thing. Why does that that always smells so good? That's like...
Wilson U.S. Open. So I have to juggle these?
So you got to figure out whether or not you can.
Okay.
And just figure out whether or not you're going to do it again at the end of the episode.
I'm a professional juggler. You know that, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, watch.
Just
Is that okay?
It's probably better than I could do.
I got to do 3? Or can I just do 2?
I mean, you can do 2.
I
but
can
I'd
even
like
do
to,
1, see?
You can do 2, and I'll throw the third one into the mix.
Oh, yeah, right.
Live.
Yeah.
All right. So just see how you do, and then we'll measure it at the end, see whether or not you did better. And it's going to be up to our opinions. I'll hold my drink down. I think the motion's like this. I see people do this a lot when they're juggling.
Oh, I can't do this stuff. How can I can't work on this. Where does the third one go?
I don't know. Just do this and then pretend.
Oh, man. I'm terrible.
You're only throwing one hand up.
Man, how they do it? I got to put one down.
Now I'm very tempted to try.
Yeah.
No, it feels so weird.
Well, you got to have some talent to do this. Oh, yeah, your hands got to go in opposite directions.
Yeah, you got to do that too. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like you got to kind of look like this.
Yeah.
Well, dog got it now.
Obviously, I'm not very good.
Rip tennis ball.
I don't think I'll be any better after a drink either.
or it'll give you the liquid confidence you need to perfect it.
Well, maybe.
So we'll put those in there.
Yeah.
So the topic of the day is growing up. Now, you are a supporter of mine.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not a fan of mine, but a supporter of mine.
A fan as well. Yeah.
And in the 10 episodes of the podcast I released last year, I think you watched probably 8 of them. Maybe you watched them all, but
I probably watched a portion of every one of them.
Yeah, no long.
And several of them in its entirety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is, and this didn't happen on purpose, a lot of them, your name was dropped in, just because I'm only 24, so a majority of my life was spent living with you and Mom.
Well, most kids don't like their parents, at your age.
It's true. I'm no different. But I kind of felt weird because I kept bringing your name up, and I'm like, I know my dad is watching this. I wonder what he thinks about me just mentioning his name. And I was always cautious to make sure I didn't say anything wrong, because you'd be able to fact check me and be like, actually, no, that was 2008, or you could just prove me wrong as a dad. But for the most part, everything I had to say was really good. And I realized around episode 10 that I really didn't have a negative thing to say about you. Every time you came up in conversation, it was a life lesson that you had taught me. It was...
So the beatings worked.
The beatings worked, yeah.
Yeah.
But every time I look back at life lessons I've learned, you were kind of always, whether or not you directly taught me it, or intricately weaved your brain in there without ever even knowing you taught me something. You're my dad, so you were very involved in teaching me things. And you still teach me things, like on our ice fishing trip.
But you got to remember, I had practice with your older brother and older sister by the time you came along.
Yeah, I'm the success story, right? You do it 3 times.
You're number 3. There's still one more coming, after you. So
you got to get one of them right. Right?
I got you all right.
Yeah.
I got to say that I'm on camera.
Yeah, but also it's kind of true, and that's another thing I bring up is you have 4 kids, and I'm not out to toot my own horn, but we're all in 4 completely different fields. We do completely different things, and we live almost completely different lives. But we're all relatively successful at what we're doing. We have our heads on right, and we work hard. And those are pretty much, I think those are the 3 things that you were instrumental in teaching us directly. So pat yourself on the back.
Well, probably more so the work ethic, I think, is probably what I taught you. Yeah.
I don't remember what years I actually was working in the store, but I think I was helping out at a pretty young age.
What year were you born?
94.
94, and you probably started walking at 2 years old. So yeah, you probably came to the store at 96, and you probably started working and picking stuff off the floor at 2, 3 years old.
Yeah, I don't know how old I was, but I remember being very young, and after school I would get off the bus at the store, and you'd have a penny per cigarette butt you pick up outside. I remember that one. And it was just I walked around for half an hour, or what felt like a half hour, probably 30 seconds, and see how much money I'd collect just so I could buy a lollipop.
You wouldn't collect much anymore.
No.
Not too many cigarette butts on the
Thankfully,
ground.
that's changing, right?
Yep. Pick up plastic bags now or styrofoam plates, right?
Yeah, that's what we're facing. That's what we're facing.
Yeah.
But I just remember work ethic being instilled. So.
But nothing's like the work ethic that my father
That's
taught.
exactly where I want to go with this. Clearly you learned it from somewhere.
Yeah.
So how did you develop the work ethic that you passed on to us?
Oh, definitely my father. I mean, he was. You think I was tough,
No, I don't.
Growing up, yeah. Well, he was tough. God bless his soul. He was born in 1914. He'd be 105 right now, and he grew up with the old crosscut saw, working in the woods and the PVs, and he worked hard and working for pennies a day, and we worked as kids. He had us working young, and punishments. Punishments is the other thing. I tell you, you didn't cross anybody back then. I can't remember what I did, but I remember my father putting me in the corner of the store. And this is a retail store, people coming in and out while he was cutting meat or selling produce or doing, back then that's what we sold. And he put me right in the corner, and I had to say my Our Fathers and my Hail Marys right in that corner, and I had to say it out loud while customers were going in and out of the store. Now, you want to be punished, and while everybody's coming in and out, when your friends are coming in and out, your kids, and you learn a lesson. It doesn't take long. He didn't lay a hand on me, but boy, didn't I learn my lesson.
Yeah.
Yep.
Humiliation.
Yep. Right in public. Yeah. But I also remember humiliating. I can't remember which son it was. Might have been you.
I think it was Nick.
Is it Nick? He did something
Probably
wrong
wasn't
at
me.
school, and I went to the school and picked him up, and he had to walk home from the school, which was over a mile, and I drove the car right behind him, and made him walk home, and I just drove the car right behind him in the road
For a mile.
Yep, and that was his punishment. He had to. And then he got punished once he got home, but he didn't get a ride home. It was, there's different tactics as you're growing up. Now it's cruel and unusual punishment, but I don't feel that I was ever cruel. And
No, I don't think so.
I don't think any of you do, really. But was I strict? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was strict. And happy to say I was strict, because you've all turned out pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's definitely evidence of two very different parenting styles, I think, between my older brothers, or my older siblings, and me and my younger brother. There's 11 years between us.
Yeah.
And, it's the difference between raising kids in the 80s and raising kids in 2000s, right?
Yeah.
I think.
There was a big parenting decisions that had to be made in public with the first two children versus you and your younger brother. For instance, when we were shopping in a clothing store or something, and I had to discipline you for something, back with the older two, I could smack him across the rear end and give him a little pat and straighten him out.
Mm-hmm.
But with you and your younger brother, it was a little different. If I was to do that, I did it once, and I remember this lady coming up to me, and I'm going to report you for child abuse, and I said, go right ahead. And
Nobody report my dad for child abuse.
Nothing ever happened.
I was treated terrifically.
Nothing ever happened, but that's how fast it changed.
Yeah, it was very
and
quick.
It wasn't anything. It was just, you're not allowed to do anything anymore.
Yeah.
By the way, red, blue. I'm glad I'm on the red side, because I vote Republican. Are you a Democrat all of a sudden?
No.
What's going on here?
What's happening? I actually never picked. I'm in marketing.
Yeah.
And I choose color schemes because I know that colors afflict certain emotions. So I chose red and blue for the emotions that come next to it. And it never once crossed my mind. And this is the difference between you being a grown-ass adult and me still being this little kid with a dream.
Oh, you're not a kid.
That
Yeah.
I did just two very completely different thought processes. And then you brought it up to me that this could be considered political opponents. And I never once considered it.
We won't go political.
I just think that's an interesting viewpoint of just how we see the same thing two different ways.
So any future guests, you might, depending on, you might want to sit on the other side of the table. I'm sorry if you do, but
this is my good side.
Oh,
so,
is that what it is?
Yeah, you see the amount of acne on this side? I just stick it on this side. I don't know what it is. I sleep on this pillow, this side of my head. So that it always breaks out a lot faster than... That's literally why I'm on this side.
Okay. Now the world knows.
Yeah, now you know. It'd be weird if I was over there. If I was facing the other way. Yeah. But it's the same way in the car. I have to sit on the right side of the car because I'm more comfortable turning my head right than looking out the window left.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you why. but I always sat in the same side of the car. And Lucas is the same way. He sits in the left.
You mean on the back seat?
In the back seat, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Preferences, weird preferences that we develop. Irrelevant. A large part of the conversation in the last episode of my last season, or the previous season, was talking to Truman Forbes about what it was like to grow up and feel like an adult. So I'm interested in hearing what you think. For me, the first moment that I actually felt like an adult and like I was making my own decisions and the rest of my life was up to me was when I bought my car. And I leased my car, but I did the paperwork myself, you know what I mean? The insurance is in my name, everything is me, right? I'm self-sustaining and I'm doing it okay. For him, it was going to the casino for the first time and then buying a sports car. Like, it was similar wavelengths. Was there a moment in your life back in late 70s, early 80s, where what was the moment where you think that you were like, okay, things need to change, I have responsibilities,
Well, being from Jackman and being a child, graduating in the 70s from high school, we had a class of, I want to say, 11 or 12 kids. Call us kids. But really, back in 1977, once you graduated, you were an adult. Mm-hmm. Once you graduated. You know, back then, parents could kick you out of the house. They could, you were expected to go right to work, join the service, or go to school. Out of my graduating class, only two people went on to school. Three of us, at least three, if not four, got married within a year.
Of high school?
Within 2 years, of high school.
So you were married before 20?
Was married before 20.
Couldn't even drink at your wedding.
Oh, yes, we could. So, that's how times have changed. And now people don't get married till they're in their 30s. But back then, we were married 18 to 20 years old, 21 years old. Not that it's a good thing or a bad thing. Luckily, I married the right woman, and it was a good thing for me. But you became an adult a lot faster back then. We didn't have
You grew up quick and you grew up tough, is what I mean.
Yeah, and we had jobs. We were able to work. Now you cannot work. Kids graduating school can't work. They go through high school. They can't work more than 3 hours a day. They can't work after 7 at night. They can't work more than 20 hours a week. So employers don't want to hire them. And minimum wage has gone up. And back when I graduated, it was you could pay a student federal minimum wage, which was, as a student, was 3/4 of your regular minimum wage.
Really?
Yeah, and you could get a permit for that. So things have changed drastically. So kids can't get work now. Working for minimum wage now is $11. For a 15-year-old,
yeah,
it's very hard to find a job. Yeah, they can't mow lawns legally. They can't
operate a cashier with someone else without someone in the building before 18.
They can't work a cash register unless they're with somebody else that's of age. They can't sell beer. They can't sell alcohol. They can't sell cigarettes or tobacco. There's so many rules. They can't operate a slicer, a fry-later. So there's not a lot. They can't even wash clothes because of the chemicals. So there's a lot of rules out there, and it makes it very tough on the kids. So they're graduating with no work experience. So I think they're sitting at home playing video games, and why they're not out fishing and hunting. Back when I went to school, we had a rifle in the truck, and we went hunting, before school, after school. We went fishing before school, after school. We played football, baseball. We didn't, we came home when the lights on the streets came on. The street lights came on. That's when we were expected home to have family dinner. Mm-hmm. Things have changed. Parents now, both parents have to work, but we didn't. My parents only, back then, one parent worked and was able to provide for the family. So
he has to work his ass off. But
things have changed. So when did you become an adult? Yeah. So I'd say once you graduated high school, you became an adult.
Is that when you felt like an adult, though? Because legally,
when did I feel like it? I think, looking at it now from my, as an older guy, I think becoming an adult is when you, how can I put this, voluntarily, say what the priest says, your time, your treasure, and your talent. So if we dissect that, is when you voluntarily give your free time. In other words, you volunteer time to help your family, to help your friends, without expecting to get paid, and that you're happy to do it. Your talents, that you're able to help people out with. For instance, with your capabilities of what you went to school for. And your treasures is money. If you can, when you feel good about being able to donate to a friend in need, or to the Red Cross, or to a disaster, or whatever, I think, to me, that's when you become an adult. I think when you're when you voluntarily, that you feel good about it, you're volunteering your time. You're not being asked. You're volunteering your time, that you're able to do it. Your family, you're taking time away. I mean, when you get married and you become an adult, you're giving up your friends. You're giving up your, a lot of your free time. You're there for your family, so you're giving up a lot of your, motorcycle. You like motorcycles? You're not going to go motorcycle riding as much because you got to take care of the kids, or bring them fishing and bring them hunting. You're teaching them. You're volunteering your time to teach your family, which is a good thing. So I've always loved that. But you're not looking back and saying, I got to take the damn kid, fishing, and I got to take care of the kid. It's not like that. Or I got to go help out at this dinner. You're happy to do it. I think that's becoming an adult is accepting that responsibility. Does that make sense?
100%. And my mind is again blown by how much sense that makes. I'm looking back on the last year of my life. I'm 24. I'm not in a place I want to be for a long period of time, but where I'm at right now, I'm comfortable and I'm happy, and I'm just trying to think of how that applies to where I'm at right now, and I do give a lot of time to my friends. When someone needs help moving, I'll just show up and move boxes and leave it at the end of the day. Don't even expect a beer at the end. You know what I mean? Just happy to do it. I don't donate a lot of money, but I do. There are a handful of charities in Bangor that every now and then I've just been here's $50, thank you, this is terrific. Or I donate to Christmases for kids, and give boots to kids that kids that don't have boots.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
What was the third one?
Time, treasure, and talents.
Time, treasure, and talents. And I donate a lot of what I do to other people. I mean, just the
discounted rates.
Discounted rate. There's a charity event in August that is it's a motorcycle ride helping raise clothes for kids, for prepping them for winter, getting ready for winter, and it's for babies. It's not for kids. It's for babies.
Yeah.
And I've volunteered to do aerial photography and videography for free for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just to be there. It's a Saturday that I'm not getting back. You know what I mean? So I guess that does apply, and those are things that started happening recently. That's probably the last 2 years that's advanced.
Yeah.
So that, on top of buying a car in the last 2 years, I've experienced those things. So it's interesting that because I definitely started to feel like a grown person who's not made it, but is equipped to make it.
Yeah.
In the last 2 years.
No, I'm not talking about
things are definitely
donating
prepared.
millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But it's all philanthropy. And
It's fascinating. While we're in a little bit of a lull of the conversation, while I try and figure out what question I'm going to ask next, I am excited to run a sponsorship for a company that I think is awesome. Halloween is right around the corner, and who better to sponsor us than Bangor's own low-budget production company, Cemetery Theater, specializing in genre films from comedy to horror right in Bangor, Maine. Their newest short film, titled The Barrens, is the only Stephen King-inspired fan film to use actual locations that inspired the author to write the novel It. After the success of their first feature-length film, Sleep Eaters, creator Shane Grant and his team have hit the ground running, creating short horror projects, introducing Bangor's new horror host, Morty Sutter, and producing a comedic documentary about the evolving cannabis culture in Maine titled High Authority. Cemetery Theater will be in attendance at the Bangor Comic and Toy Con Halfway Convention on October 19th at the Eagles Club in Brewer, Maine, with special guest Morty Sutter, where they'll be talking about his first annual Halloween special debuting online for free October 30th. For more information, visit cemeterytheater.com. I want to mention something, and I want to give you a chance to defend yourself. In the last episode of last season, I had mentioned how, for the first time in my adult life, not my adult life, my whole life, I decided that I was going to help you do wood, which a bunch of trees fell down in the backyard, and I'm like, you know what, while my dad's away, I'm going to cut these up, I'm going to turn them into firewood, get them ready for splitting, make sure I pile them, bark up, so they stay dry. And me and my younger brother thought we were doing a really good thing, and we volunteered some time to cut some wood. And when we told you, you were so upset that we had actually helped out for the first time. So I want to let you...
And I called you a dumbass.
I think you called me a dumbass.
Well, that's what I heard on your podcast. What's the reason you did it?
To help you.
Because you thought I was dead?
No, I didn't think you were dead. You just come out of surgery, and I wanted to make sure you didn't hurt yourself and then get dead. I didn't want you to get yourself dead.
You know, what really worried me more is when I heard that you guys grabbed the chainsaw.
It makes you feel better. I never touched it.
Yeah, well, I was always afraid that you guys going to get hurt yourself, because I can tell you right now, you're the clumsy one.
That's why I didn't pick it up.
You're the clumsy one.
I know, yeah.
Bark up is good, but number two, it wasn't firewood. It's softwood. So it's not firewood.
Burns differently, okay?
Yeah, and it's not, made for, heat. And so that's why, basically, I don't need chunks of wood laying around my house. I just wanted it away. I wanted it gone. And it's still sitting there. But, yeah, instead of 3 trees now, I got 20-some odd sitting there. But they're all down now. But
yeah, luckily we only did 2 of them.
You only did a couple of them. But, yeah, and they're still sitting there. So now I got to haul it to camp, because now it's going to be fireplace, just burning wood, which is good. It's done. You did it. Yeah. Now you can come home and split it.
Yeah, okay.
Because I got rid of the splitter, so now, you got to do the...
Did you get rid of the splitter?
Yeah.
That's true. You don't have fires.
I got a splitting maul. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys can do it next time you're at camp. So that's all right. Give you some more work.
Perfect. I barely help around. I'm not there much.
But no, it was good of you guys to think of me and to do it, because those trees had just fallen down, and a couple of them on the garage and a couple in the backyard.
You weren't even home when they fell, right? You were gone, or they just
no?
I
think it had just happened, and then I ended up with the ambulance ride and I came home, you guys had taken care of them, but so it wasn't what I expected, and in the future, just ask. That's all.
Yeah, and it was, that's exactly what I was thinking.
And I think it's just a matter of, it's just, in the future, just common courtesy. You don't go to somebody's house, and even though that, you're my son, you just, you should ask.
Yeah. It's,
how do you want to, is it okay if we take care of this stuff, and how do you want to handle it?
Yeah. It was just so funny, because we know how it would have, we thought we knew how you would have handled it for 18 years.
Yeah.
We were like, all right, we've learned this lesson 100 times. If this wood was sitting here for more than a week, he would have been like, look, you guys are bored, go freaking cut the wood. You know what I mean? There's 2 cord of wood in the backyard. You're bored, go split the wood. You know what I mean? We didn't do too much of that growing up, and I think it's a difference in both parenting and also technology was changing. So we were burning less wood. Yeah. But I know that if I ever told you I was bored, you could have been like, be productive, go cut wood. Be productive, go clean the bathroom.
Well, now that all the kids are grown up and out of the house, now I've switched to pellets.
Yeah, just got to all I have to do is help you one day a year.
I don't have you guys splitting the wood and stacking it and bringing it in the basement anymore. So
I've still, every year
though,
since you changed pellets, every year I have helped you move into the basement.
The pellets, yeah.
The pellets.
Yeah.
So I come home and I help you with the pellets. Or we
7 tons.
Line it up so when I come.
Yeah, 7 tons of pellets this year. Yeah.
Do you remember we had my cousin come from your sister's son? I don't want to name names specifically, but he came up and he was surprised that I was volunteering my time to help you do pellets. He's like, why are you doing this? You don't have to be here. I'm like, I'm me. I live here. Like, I'm gonna help my dad. Like, I'm just gonna help him out. And there was a new concept to him of just like, oh, there's work to be done. Let's do it. And it's still a new concept to me, and I barely do it. And it was just interesting having somebody else that felt like I was the responsible one, and I know that I'm not. So that was a very interesting kind of experience, or so just thing to hear.
You're being reviewed by your peers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another part of being an adult is I was like, I want to make a sign for this podcast. I want to put it right here with the Boondock Perspective logo on it, and I want to wood burn it, and I want to make it out of pallets. And I called my mom, and I said, hey, are there any pallets lying around? I'd like to build a sign. and then have it wood burned. And then I said, oh, you know what? My mom has a wood burner. I'll let her wood burn it. She likes being artsy. She's very crafty. She'd probably love to do that. But I'll build it for her. So I'm not displacing anybody or just making work for somebody that doesn't need that work. And I was fully prepared to go in the backyard, grab the pry bar, hammer it, take it off the pallets, nail it together, saw them to the right length, sand everything. And when I went to do it, the very first step of that was, hey, Dad, could I borrow your pry bar? And when I asked you that, you said, yeah, no problem. Went into the garage, got the pry bar, grabbed the hammer, went out to the back, did it all for me.
Well, it was better. It was easier to do that than to go do the honey-do list.
So I was your distraction. You being responsible and helping your son was actually just a distraction from responsibility.
Just joking.
Honey, do this,
I
honey,
thought
do
that was funny, though.
Is that what that is? Honey, do this, honey, do that?
Yeah, a honey-do list.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, you never heard that?
I've never heard that before.
Are you kidding me?
No, I don't think I've ever heard you say that.
Haven't seen mums, do this, do that, list.
I've seen the notes.
Yeah, that's a honey-do list.
There's 1,000 sticky notes in the house.
It's the ones that I kind of just brush aside and I put them underneath something.
You just pile them on top of each other?
I forgot to do it. Yeah, I didn't see that. Yeah. Oh, don't tell her.
I'm sure she'll watch this in a few months. So make sure your honey-do list is done when this airs. I'll give you ample notice.
Yeah, give me a little notice. That's right.
Here I thought you were being responsible. Like you're just like, I'm going to help my son, and I'm going to teach him. I don't want him to get hurt using the table saw, so I'll table saw for him, and I'll sand it for him, and I'll. You measured everything and made sure it all lined up. Right. So anyway, you have that with you, that sign.
I do.
You want to pull it out?
It's not a great sign.
I think it's a fantastic sign.
You think it's fantastic?
I think it's a fantastic sign.
Okay.
I think you did great. I think you did really
I didn't do
good.
anything. Your mother did it.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
She's napping in the car.
There you go.
Oh, you guys signed it on the back.
Yeah, she did.
Good luck. Love, Mom.
Yeah, Boondock perspective. Yeah.
This thing is sweet. Yeah. And it's very rustic. It's very real. Like, it's literally just pallets sanded down, and then it's exactly what it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? This looks perfect. So hopefully next episode, if I can figure out how, like, twine works with suspended ceiling and how much weight it can support, this should be hanging right here.
Somewhere up in there.
Somewhere up in there.
Yeah.
I think that'll be so nice. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So when your son asks you to come on a podcast, what's the first thing that runs through your mind?
First thing that runs into being a business person, geez, where do I have to go for this podcast? Yeah, you got to go to Brewer.
You got to go 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's 2.5 hours away. Well, what can I do in Brewer while I'm there? So, yeah, whenever you leave Jackman, you got a whole list of things you got to do. So, yeah, that's what we're doing.
You got to make a day of it.
Got to go shopping and take care of business and meet people and, make a full day of it. So make it worth your trip.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is in the life in the slow lane in Jackman, Maine. Yeah. So being from the country, you know what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get out relatively early.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I miss it a lot, though.
And part of that is going out to eat with you and going to enjoy a brew pub. So
microbrewery.
Microbrewery, is that what you call them now? Yeah. There's so many of them popping all over the place.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bangor's a good place for that.
Bangor's a really great place for it. They do really well here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a different way of life. I don't feel judged when you come up, but you can definitely see the differences in lifestyles. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
We talked about a while back, and I kind of want to touch on it more, how your parents grew up through the Depression and through the wars, you know what I mean? And they were very like, don't spend money on anything. We go out to eat for our birthdays, and that's it. You know what I mean? We don't spend money. You don't go on vacations. They were very conservative with their cash flow, right? And because of that, they were able to give a really good life to 4 of you with your mom not really working too much, right? Just one guy. Your dad was supporting the whole family. Did your mom work? Did Meme work?
Who's the 4th?
Oh, I got it for him.
I didn't know if I had a brother or sister out there you knew about.
Oh my God, you don't know about Greg. No, three
Only
kids.
3 of us.
Yeah.
They did. They did. Work. Basically, my mother just supported my father, and she did a lot. I remember while my father was working, he worked 7 days a week. I think we went on vacation once my whole life with my father, and that was when he was 86 years old. That we took a vacation with him. Other than that, he was a
Is that the year
workaholic.
before he passed?
Yep.
Wow.
That's when we went on a
He
cruise.
waited 86 years to go on a vacation.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, with the whole family. Yep. So he worked all the time, but he always gave his time so his wife, my mother, could take us to Santa's Village, which was still around back then.
Yeah.
Or I remember going to Moody Beach once, for a couple days. But she was the one that took us on a few trips. But he had to give his time. But my mother worked hard. I mean, back then she did all the cooking. I remember her walking over with a cardboard box with his plate of food for lunch or dinner, and it always had a towel on top of it to keep it hot. She always cut his steak or his liver and onions or whatever he was eating at the time. She always cut it and was all ready to go. So when he, in between customers, he'd woof it down and get back to work. But yeah, Sundays though. Sundays was his time off. That was back then. We all had to go to church. We had to attend mass at 7:30 in the morning, and then he'd open up the store at 9 o'clock on Sundays. So that was his free time.
Was this 2-hour period where he'd go to church?
Mandatory, yeah. That we went to church for an hour, and but we had a little time in the morning there, and that was our time with Dad. Yeah.
So this is going to be a fun question or a terrible question. Where do you think your lifestyle would make your dad shake his head? Because it's different,
God.
right? And I'm going to answer the same question in relation to you.
Oh, so many things. I mean, growing up, I mean, right up till he was, on his deathbed. I mean, you're spending money, and one of these days you're going to need it, and you've never gone through the depression, and you got to save your money. What do you buy that for? You could have built it, you could have made it, or that's waste of time and money. Or there was a lot of that stuff.
Like vacations, vehicles, or
no, just
shed?
little things. Just buying something new for the house. I mean, that a new refrigerator. Well, geez, you didn't need a new refrigerator. The old one worked fine. Yeah. Well, geez, Dad was smaller. Now we got 4 kids. We needed a bigger fridge, and power bills. Are a lot cheaper with the new ones and energy efficient. And he didn't understand that. Or computers. And buying the first Apple IIe computer. And
wait, you had an Apple?
no, I did.
Oh,
yeah,
you had
I
an
did.
Apple?
Yeah, Apple IIe. Yeah, I remember that Apple IIe. That was the first computer I had. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then, getting these phones, and, no, he wouldn't understand any of that.
Yeah. No, he'd be lost.
No,
I didn't know him very well. What was
No.
I, 4 or 5, 6
Yeah.
maybe? when he
and
passed.
just like I look at you guys, and what I say to you, I think not too long ago, I said, well, why are you renting an apartment when you could be buying a house?
Yeah, right.
But
Yeah.
kids these days, they don't buy houses.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get married at 18. They get married at 32, 34. They go through 12 jobs in their lifetime. Back when I graduated, you took a job, you had that job until you died or until you retired.
Mm-hmm.
Now you go from one job to the next, to the next, to the next, because these companies, they downsize, things change. Government gets involved. Well, politics again, sorry guys. But anyway, things have changed. Rules have changed.
Yeah.
So how do you feel?
So I think, if your parents went out to eat for their birthdays and maybe a couple special occasions, you go out to eat. It's hard. It's tough because you run a restaurant, right? You have a store where you can get food. Not including that, how often do you go out to eat? Like when you go downriver, pretty much every time.
Then we kind of save that. Yeah, the eating out when we do a trip to Portland or Bangor. Yeah. Like today, we went out for lunch and had a nice meal and some quality time. Whenever we being in business, I do get to go to gift shows and sporting shows and things like that. So we do get to eat and stay in nice hotels or whatever for 2-3 nights at a time. So that's nice. So we spend and that would probably really bother my parents that we do that. And why do you have to do that? Back then, the salesman used to come to you. Now we have to go to the salesman. Times have changed.
Changed.
Yeah.
So in the same note, every day for lunch, just about at my job,
Yeah.
we go to lunch. It's just like every day for lunch, everyone eats together and everyone gets food. And it's like, oh, what'd you get? Oh, I got a steak and cheese from this place. Oh, I got ramen noodles from this place. Yellow curry to die for. It's like everyone's comparing notes on their food, and it's literally, I think, once a day I'm eating out. I still cook my breakfast, have my breakfast, and I have
What
my
a
dinner.
waste of money.
Isn't that insane, right? That's insane. It's mind-blowing.
That
And
same
it's like,
salad
sorry.
or that same sandwich you could make for, oh, wait a minute. I have a deli. No, disregard that.
Can't give all the answers away.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Time is
difference
precious now. I mean, you guys, yeah.
Yeah.
You're a single guy, so you can't go out and buy a head of lettuce, to just put a little lettuce in your sandwich.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
It's hard to buy groceries
So
because
you're
it's
not-
just a
yeah,
run out of everything. Or I
they-
make everything in bulk. And
You can't go to the grocery store and buy a quarter pound of hamburger, right? They sell it usually,
Yeah.
a pound package or something. It's
Yeah, you're going to eat this stuff.
yeah, unless you want to, get that freezer burnt.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
like every morning for
processed.
breakfast, I have the same breakfast, and that's how I started saving money. Is because we used to do breakfast too, and I was like, all right, I gotta limit this. And then for dinner, it's like I tend to come home. I'll have something reasonable, or if I'm feeling like I really want to go out to eat, and if I want to get a pizza, I'm across from a grocery store. I'll just go get pizza supplies and I'll make a pizza. You know what I mean? But if I didn't buy lunch that day, let's say, and I made a tuna sandwich, then for dinner, you know what I'm gonna want to do? I'm gonna want to go to eat. I feel like it's weird to feel that way. Like it's a good way to go socialize, go out with all my friends, and it's like I don't have something expensive. I'm just,
Yeah, but when you were making that tuna sandwich, you could have made yourself a tuna casserole and had some left over, right?
Or I could have made two and had breakfast and
Yeah.
lunch. Yeah, yeah. It's just it's
Yeah.
very weird, and a lot of everyone that's here is kind of in the same spot. And I don't know if it's an age difference or a location difference because Bangor and Jackman are very different, and it's kind of the thing.
Yeah,
that you
location
do
probably
here.
has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, even in Jackman, because if you take Bangor and Jackman in the same year, people are still going out to eat way less then, and that's probably just because restaurants aren't available. Do you think if you were closer to restaurants, you'd be going out to eat more often?
Oh, we have restaurants in Jackman.
I mean, 3 or 4, but we
Yeah.
have 50.
Right,
You know
right.
what I mean?
We don't
Do you
have
think-
the selection.
I feel like Indian food.
We don't go out to eat as much. I mean, not that we can't afford to now, but we don't go out to eat because when we have the time to go out to eat now, the restaurants are closed because it's mud season in Jackman, and then all of a sudden it's getting busy. They reopen, but now we're busy. My camp is open, so I'm headed to camp. I'm not going out to eat when I can barbecue. So yeah, I don't go out to eat very much in town as often as I do out of town. A lot more often out of town.
But if you
on
lived in
trips.
Bangor and let's say you're
Yeah.
running your business, do you think when you had 50 restaurants in your backyard, I'm craving chicken tikka marsala,
No, I mean-
Indian food. I'm going to go get chicken tikka marsala, Indian food. If I
No,
crave
no,
something
there's
within 2
nothing-
days, I got to go get it.
There's nothing like your mother's home cooked food.
It's true. I miss it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
miss that.
So
a
I
lot.
mean, yeah, I'm not, and you can eat what you want, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't go out to eat anymore. Probably.
No?
No. This fast food stuff isn't for me.
Yeah, and I through the documentary that I'm making, right? I am trying to. I should preface. I'm making a documentary and I'm trying to lose 100 pounds in 14 months. And then you and I are going to hike the Camino de Santiago with my mom, which is a 600-mile trail in France. 500-mile
Yeah.
trail through France and Spain, like a Catholic Christian pilgrimage trail.
Yeah.
It's going to be very cool and very rewarding, but I'm in no shape to do that. And I feel like I could. I want to be in shape when that happens. So I'm making a documentary on that. Now that that's been said, through this documentary process, I've been noticing, I've tried to pick up on how much money I spend on food, where I'm eating, trying to find healthier options. And that's another reason why for breakfast I don't get Tim Hortons. On the way to work, I have boxes of Carnation Instant Breakfasts, just something to fill me up. So every day I spend 80 cents on breakfast. You know what I mean? Just quick and easy. And then for dinner on the way home, I'll have a granola bar. This way I'm not hungry on the drive home, where I'd be influenced to just pull over into a restaurant and grab something
But
to go.
all your friends, what are they doing?
That. They're all going to the bars. They're all going again.
Right.
Oh, I feel like pasta tonight. You want to go
Right.
to the Italian restaurant, the new Italian restaurant? Yeah, sure.
So, I mean, my parents were, during the age of the Depression where they had stamps or which I actually found some up in the attic at one time. So,
Really?
Yeah, some coupons or I think they were
were
called
they
stamps.
called?
They were stamps for like cheese and eggs and, butter. potatoes. You could only get
can't remember
so
what
many
those were
pounds
called.
of potatoes, and because everything was rationed during the war, and so they had these coupons where you could eat them. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
I learned about those
yeah,
in school.
yeah. So I mean, that's how times have changed. They never went out to eat,
Yeah.
never, ever. And when we graduated high school, yeah, we had some pizza shops and sub shops, which I remember very well. And as a teenager, we ate there a lot. But once we pizza's always been a staple around our house.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm in the business.
That's
of
my
it, so-
biggest thing. That is my
yeah.
biggest. I crave
Yeah.
pizza, and now it's like I'm not going to Domino's. I'm not going to Pizza
Hey,
Hut.
shout out to Bishop's Wicked Pizza.
Bishop's Wicked Pizza. So to wrap up the conversation, are there any pinnacle moments in your life where you had to be? There's a lot of moments in like my life where I remember thinking, "Damn, my dad's a man. Like, that's a man right there." Not in terms of like, "Oh, he looks great," because you do, but why would he make that decision? That's so much harder than the actual decision. And I'm right now I'm referring to we had to redo some of the electrical in the bathroom, and instead of hiring the local electrician to do it, you were just going through the walls, digging out a couple wires, and it wasn't that extensive, but you were just changing a light switch. And I would have hired someone to do it. I wouldn't now because of the life lesson you taught me. Like, if you can do it yourself, do it yourself.
Well, I don't want you to burn the place down either. You got to know what you're doing. But YouTube
Yeah.
can teach you a lot now.
Yeah.
Yeah, electrical is one thing that you got to be careful with. But plumbing you can play with.
There's just a lot of things that you are like, oh, I'll just do it myself. I can do that myself. But you also know where the line is of like, all right, now I need to hire someone to do that. Are there any pinnacle moments in your life that you remember, like maybe failing, or
fail 9 out of 10
getting
times.
zapped and just
Oh yeah,
you know?
9 out of 10 times.
Really?
But you get up and get back on the horse and ride it again. Yeah, for sure. 9 out of 10 times I failed. Whether it's I can paint. Is it as good? No. I've sheetrocked. Is it as good? Nowhere near it. But you know what? I'm not a perfectionist. And if you're coming to my house to look for perfection, you're not going to find it.
Yeah.
But it's a lived-in house. Okay? My family's lived in. Do we fight? Yeah.
4 kids,
Have I
4
fought with you?
grandkids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So you got to weigh your options and do what you can with the means that you have. Plain and simple. If you can afford, and you're not worried about your lifestyle in the future. I've always worried about what I'm going to do when I get done working, and I want to live a lifestyle that's, I can travel a little bit and enjoy life. So I've painted my own inside of the house. I tore down all the siding on the outside of the house. I've done a lot of work around my house. Have we had a garden? No, we've never had a time for a garden because both, we've always worked. But have I made mistakes? Sure have. Sure have.
I even think about when during the summer, we want to, all right, let's take the day, let's go to the beach, let's go to our camp, let's go kayaking, relax, have a picnic, maybe have a barbecue. And we would go, and the whole time, me and my younger brother were fishing with flies and off the dock, and mom was making food or reading a book, and you're just mowing the lawn, and then you're cleaning the gutters, and then you're staining the side, and it's like you couldn't shut yourself off. At what point is it like we had a day where we could spend together, and you're like, oh no, I have all these things to do. I'm not going to spend, instead of procrastinating and just relaxing, I'm going to do these before I relax. Like, for me, that day would have been like, all right, I'll mow the lawn. And then I'd move on. Like, I'd be like, I'm going to do one thing. For me, that list is usually one thing. Today, I'm going to clean the bathroom before I go to work. Today, I'm going to do the dishes when I get back.
When you got up
can do
this
all these
morning,
things.
did you know what you were going to do?
100%.
There you go.
But it's easy.
Okay. I schedule things as well. You were on my schedule today. Shopping for the things I had to get today that I couldn't get in town was on my schedule. So I schedule things. Now, if I'm going to camp and there's not much on my schedule, I'm going to find something to do because I can't sit in the sun and do nothing. Fishing isn't good on a hot, sunny day in the middle of the pond. So I might go fishing in the morning or in the evening, go do some fly casting. But the rest of the day, yeah, I'm going to work. But guess what? I'm going to have a beer in between. I'm going to have some chips and salsa, or whatever. But yeah, I don't.
You like micro decompress. You're like
but
some of us
it's on my own time. It's on my own time. It's different.
For me, it's like I'll take 2 straight weeks of just balls to the walls.
Yeah.
Like this week, I'm recording 10 to 12 of these episodes, right? And that's insane. And that's on top of 40 hours a week, plus my documentary, plus my side business, right? I'm going to be balls to the walls. But then in 2 weeks, I'm going to take 5 days and just be like, all right, every day after work, I'm going to sit there. I'm going to slouch out on the couch. I'm just going to watch TV because I need to relax.
Well, that's the wrong thing to do.
And I need all that time.
You need to take a couple hours and edit this.
Huh?
You need to get a couple hours every day so you can edit these.
Yeah.
And just do it slowly.
So
you work a couple hours and then you take the rest of the day off.
So you're more about the beer at the end of the day rather than do everything you can in that one day and then take the weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I'm more like I'd rather work a really hard, no time 5 days and then have 2 straight days of just doing just nothing and vegging out. Whereas it seems like you're very much, all right, I have 12 hours dedicated to this and then I'll spend 2 for myself.
Yeah, we'll take 4 or 5 hours off and break and enjoy life. But
I think that's a personal preference between just people to people, not age gap, not location. Just everyone prefers different things. But I have noticed I used to judge so hard when you would mow and then stain and then clean the gutters and then like worry about the roof and then plant garden or flowers in the garden or prune something or just go move a rock because it's in the way because you just gotta move that rock. Like I always looked at it and I was like, God, he can't relax. And now I can't relax. Now it's like I have, after this podcast, this episode is done, I have 5 hours to do nothing. And I'm going to sit in the couch, and it'll be an hour, and I'll just be like, you know what? Screw it, dude. I'm going to do laundry. I'm going to go to the grocery store, and it's just like, I can no longer, I have to schedule my free time.
So I guess you've become an adult.
I've become an adult, and I don't like it. I want to keep doing nothing.
Not sitting there playing video games anymore.
Yeah. I can't play video games anymore.
That's a waste of time.
It's crazy. I can't pick up. I could play one on my phone for like a couple minutes.
Kids, get out there and go hunting, go fishing.
I don't know what happened. And now I want to go bird hunting. I'm not in a place I can go bird hunting every day.
Hey, did you apply for your moose permit?
No.
Oh, you.
Did I miss it? Is it
yes.
done? Oh, I missed it completely.
Jeez. What's the matter with you? I even texted you.
You did.
Yeah.
But I didn't put it on a list.
Yeah,
I should do that.
See, there you go.
It wasn't on the list. But that was funny.
So I got a question for you. If you had children and you caught your 13 or 14-year-old smoking a cigarette, what would you do?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, you probably would have been like, here's a whole carton of cigarettes. But I don't know. Have a strong word with them and show them bad cases of people and bad teeth. I'll show a ton of bad teeth. I'll just Google bad teeth and be like, this is what you're going to look like.
Okay. You know what my father did?
Did he catch you smoking at 13? Yeah. Okay. What did he do?
He says, that's not the way to smoke. He says, come with me. We went to the store and got a nice big fat cigar. And he showed me how to smoke a cigar. How to light it, how to inhale. And he says, you're smoking the whole thing like a man.
A cigar?
A cigar. Big fat cigar.
Unfiltered cigars.
Oh, yeah. Inhale it and everything until I got sick. What do you think of that?
I assume you don't smoke now.
Okay. So that was his life lesson on smoking. Did he smoke? Yeah. Years ago, he used to smoke up to 3 packs a day when he was
Your
in the
dad?
woods. Yep.
Pepe did?
But not after he had kids.
Really?
When he was younger, yep. When he was working in the woods before he had the business. 3 packs a day. Unfiltered cigarettes.
I don't think you ever caught me smoking, and you never caught me drinking, and it's because I didn't until I was 18.
Yeah.
I think I have a thing of like 5 cigars in my car, and it takes like a whole year to go through those. And with and now I drink. But
Seems to me when you shot a moose that we had a cigar.
Yeah. You were the first one to give me something to smoke. We shot a moose, and I got a cigar.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing with beers. Like if something big happened, like when I graduated, like, hey, nice man, got my Eagle Scout. Here's your beer. Nice man. But it was never. I never, for some reason, I don't know what it is. What do you think it is? I never went out and tried to figure that stuff out. And I'm not straight edge. I was at the time. But I don't know why I was. Because I hate me back then. I look back and I'm like, oh, dude, I was such a prude. I didn't I just judged everybody who smoked and drank. And that being said, there were 12-year-olds that were smoking so many cigarettes and all the alcohols. So I think I just learned out of fear. That wasn't necessarily, I don't think, a life lesson you guys taught me. It was just I was observing the world and realizing that it was leading to bad lives. But to understand that at the age of like 12 is crazy. So I don't really know what my question is, but like I've always been curious to why I didn't have an experimental phase. I just never did. I always knew, oh yeah, don't smoke. That's bad. Dad never told me, but I know smoking's bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you knew it.
Yeah.
You knew it. Yeah. We drilled it in. So we're going to juggle?
Yeah, I already finished my drink, so that's pretty much the end of the conversation.
We're going to finish drinking?
I mean, mine's done. I make a really good rum and coke, though. Although you can't go wrong with rum and coke.
Yeah.
How was that beer? You don't really like IPAs too much, right?
I love IPAs.
Oh.
Not crazy about that one.
Oh, yeah. Well, we won't shout out who it was then.
No.
All right, let's figure it out.
So it's got to go the opposite way.
Well, I don't know. Now I'm thinking, I think you throw one and then you just don't counteract.
Okay.
You were closer.
I was
You at least
closer.
had the movements right.
Nope. They're gonna go flying everywhere. I can't do this. It's got to be this one
It's gotta be
first.
that one first.
Oh, I was gonna cup.
But you still did better because
There you go. Let's see how you do.
You had the motions.
Oh, that was a lot better.
Hey,
that was a lot better.
That was a lot better. So I didn't start with the motions.
Yeah.
All right, Patrick's got the ball
Yeah, you're
now.
doing a lot
Hey, it was
better.
the same one he was chewing on before. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
For the victories.
Yeah. Well, good.
That's funny. So thank you for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm really happy to have you on. I think that people were like questioning if I could pull it off.
Well, you're still a dumbass, but that's okay. You're an adult dumbass.
I'm an adult dumbass. It's funny. I make so many mistakes now, and I used to beat myself up so bad. Actually, I used to beat myself up real bad when I made mistakes, and now it's like I goof, and I'm just like, oh, Ethan, you dummy, you dumb idiot.
At least you're realizing your mistakes.
And then it's like,
part of being an adult.
All right, next time I'll do it this way, and I can let it go. It's just it's funny how you learn from it. I remember I used to have wicked bad temper tantrums.
Oh,
I
you
remember.
did.
And not that I remember, but I remember.
You still get very irritable.
I get very irritable now. I think I do it especially when you guys are around because our family is similar.
We
so
irritate you.
What? Because you guys drive me nuts. No, because I think we communicate the same.
Yeah.
So it's like when I get irritated, it's usually because other people are irritated, and then it's just feeding off of irritation. But you taught me a lesson once where you're just like, Ethan, I used to get temper tantrums too, and I was like, bullshit, Dad. You're the most calm dude ever. And then you'd be like, look, just take a deep breath, count to 10. It's fine. And you'd do it for me. And I'm like, I pretend, but I never really committed to it. And now I catch myself counting to friggin' 10 like a couple times a week where I'm just in my car like just forcing myself to breathe. And it's just another one of those lessons that you taught me, but it didn't kick in until...
Yeah, and I learned that when I was EMT on an ambulance, volunteering my time, because they said you get to an ambulance scene and all you see is the carnage and the wreckage, and just sit there and take it all in and count to 10, and then observe while you're doing it, and count to 10 and just assess, and then go to work. But you got to relax and you got to get your thoughts in order. So you got to straighten out and relax. So counting to 10 is always a good thing.
Yeah, I find myself doing it a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, part of being an adult.
Yeah, I don't really look
Controlling
forward to the next
your
20
temper.
years, though. I'm like, I kind of just want to stay 24 forever, which I feel like everyone feels that way.
Yeah,
But
I wish I was 24 again.
well, no one's going to be like, you know what, I'm 54, but you know what, I really wish I was 82.
Yeah.
No one says that. All right, well, remember, on top of being available for your viewing pleasure on YouTube, the podcast is also available on iTunes and hopefully Spotify by the time this airs. And don't forget to add the Boondock Perspective on Facebook and Instagram. We have a lot of highlight videos and behind-the-scenes content. And also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe because this dude's awesome, and so are all of my guests. Cool. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. Take care. Sayonara.
Sayonara.